Ladies and gents, welcome back. Am I late? Did I start? I'm 1 minute late, everybody. I'm wholly unprepared today. I'm actually so unprepared. It's Friday, everyone. Welcome back to the Friday night live stream. It's been a very busy week this week. All kinds of stuff going on. Clyde, do something on the scene. Absolutely. Welcome back, everyone. Welcome back. If you're just tuning into this for the first time, say you're a new subscriber to the channel, you don't know what's going on, you usually want to see the short videos in the morning. This is the long form content. This is the live stream. If you're watching this after the fact, I have already recorded this and you're watching it. But yeah, this was live on Friday in the evening at 6:30 Pacific time. Check your local time zone for when that would be. Where's my UberEATS? What's a microaggression? Oh my god, we got some stuff to get into. I'm wholly unprepared this evening. I'm so wrapped up in this inquiry into the Emergencies Act. Been having that in my ear all day today. So if you guys don't know, I'm a mechanic. I wrench on cars for a living. This is what I do. This is my day job. I didn't quit my day job for YouTube. I still do that, and I do YouTube. So we're doing both of them together. But we got some stuff going on. I've had the Emergencies Act inquiry in my ears. I was expecting some sort of professionalism. I was mistaken. I was mistaken to assume that I would be tuning into something. Some of the lawyers are very professional, but the witnesses that came forward definitely not there, not quite there. And we're talking about witnesses from Ottawa that were coming forward to talk about why they needed the Emergencies Act. Nobody actually, spoiler, nobody gave a reason why they needed an Emergencies Act. It didn't happen once, not once. There was all kinds of banter about all kinds of stuff about why the Freedom Convoy, they didn't like it, and they just said that in very colorful ways. But not once was there ever given justification for why they needed police powers above and beyond what powers police have. In fact, they were just, for the most part, just griping that the police didn't do what they wanted. And that's it. Just because the police didn't do it, maybe because the police can't infringe on people's rights. Concept. But we're gonna get into that because it's just holy cow. The level of professionalism in Ottawa I knew was pretty low, but I didn't know it was that low. It was very low. And of course, all kinds of people streaming it out there. I see Mr. Sunshine Baby in the chat. Jasper, I see ya. You were streaming this. Lots of people. Rohan Kumar Paul from War Campaign, I saw streaming it as well. And I shared out the link for Damas Promise. I keep mispronouncing it. It's Damas. He was streaming it without anything else, so it was just the feed on YouTube, and I appreciated that. So just listening to Damas, and Damas is in the chat. There you go. Go click a link on him and get over to his channel and give him a subscribe. He's mostly a TikTok guy. He's moving over to the better platform, in my opinion. There's no Communist Party running the show here. So well, maybe it's commies in California, but it's not them Chinese commies that are running YouTube. Anyway, let's get into some of this, because what a joke, an absolute joke this whole thing was today. I'll be live streaming all the inquiry. Okay, so check out Damas Promise, his channel, to check out the live stream. If you want commentary, you can check out War Campaign. You can check out Mr. Sunshine Baby. I think there's a bunch of people that are doing the commentary stuff. But if you want to just listen to the just the live feed as it's going. Check out Damn As Promise. Give it a go. Appreciate the work from Clyde Do Something and Mr. Sunshine Baby from Glenn. Thank you, Glenn. Appreciate that. Hi from Montreal. Thumbs for fingers. Hello, Montreal. You managed to type that out with all those thumbs. Twitter was hot today. Boy, was it ever. I'm going to show you some of the stuff from Twitter because I've just been having too much fun with that. Oh, yes, War Campaign 2. Absolutely. Absolutely. My buddy Ro. What a guy. He's a good dude. What about Viva Fry? I don't know if Viva Fry was live streaming the whole event. Like, I know he does a show. He was probably covering a bit of it, but I don't think he was live streaming the whole thing play by play. Careful you don't feed straight. If you don't take that feed straight. Well, it's a public broadcast. You can just put it up there for everybody to see. That's the whole point. Good evening, Clyde. Good evening, everyone. Nice to see you, Clyde. Thank you very much, Tammy. Nice to see you as well, Francois. What did I learn today? That some of Ottawa's population are very precious and need to be protected. Yeah, very, very precious indeed. And they need to be fed. That's something else we learned today. It has to be a particular type of feedings. Trish Prue. Good evening, Clyde. Thank you so much. Good evening, Trish. Viva was posting on Twitter. I did see that. Thanks, Clyde. Yes, just be sure to be careful about what you say. You know what I mean? Yeah, I'll be careful about what I say. You have to. This is just the nature of things here. Barjang. What up, Clyde? My name is Pleb. Hey, Pleb. How you doing? Great. Hello from Asher and MB. Pumpy's Garage. Nice. Welcome to the chat. I love seeing you guys coming out. It's amazing. It's amazing. Commission mandate also states not their job to comment on civil or criminal actions of the government. Yeah, that's correct. Ken Paisley. Broken record. Are you going on the Rumbles too, Clyde? Okay, so I don't have a multi-streaming service, so I just do YouTube when I do the live streams. The streams will then be uploaded to Rumble. I have my channel mirrored to Rumble. My videos are all up, so anyone who prefers Rumble, it's there, except the live streams. They'll be up later, but you just can't watch them live. Manitoba. That one always messes with me, MB, Manitoba. It's like the yeah, whatever. My bad. Yes, Manitoba. Okay, cool. Yeah, so I like to put my stuff up on Rumble for everybody. It's basically putting it up for free because I don't even think there's ad revenue on Rumble. If there is, it's very insignificant, and it's the ad revenue that really helps this channel. I know a lot of people say you should get sponsors and all that stuff. Yeah, I just don't want to. I don't want to add too much to the content. Bombard people. It's that little ad that you watch at the beginning or at the end of the video that really gives the whole channel its kickback. So it's very, very nice having that. So I'm gonna stick with that program there. Perhaps get some merch as everybody's been asking for, but I'm not in a too much of a rush there. We got 274 people watching, 80 likes. Hey, tell the algorithm that you're really, really interested in this content on a Friday night. Please get those likes up there. Love to see it. Anyway, let's get into some of this. Let's get there's so many highs in the chat. Love you guys. You guys are great. From Antarctica. Really? You're actually in Antarctica watching this. That's amazing. That's amazing. I know there's not a huge population there. So I got a good chunk of the demographic, it looks like. There we go. Hi from BC. Tiki Cats. Okay, enough of the highs. Let's get into some of this stuff that we're looking at today. First, we're going to get into some of the memes because you guys share the best memes on the internet. You share them on the Discord. And of course, the link is in the description down below. Check out the Discord if you're not familiar with Discord. It's another social media. It's a little bit more intimate. You can join groups of people, and there's a lot of features to it. Lots of chat rooms, lots of very good video and voice chat capability. Lots of cool people hanging out there. Definitely check out the link in the description down below. But we get a lot of people sharing memes on the Discord, and I like to show some at the beginning of the live streams on Fridays. So let's get into some of that. This is a good one. A group of engineer students on their and their teacher were given a free airplane tickets to go on holiday. Once on the plane, captain announced that they were on the plane that the students had built. Everyone freaked out and rushed off the plane, except for the teacher who stayed there with calm. When the flight attendant asked why he hadn't left, he responded, "I know the abilities of my students quite well, and this thing won't even start." Great. I love it. Engineers, of course, the everyday liberal and PPC. There's a lot of hate on for the PPC these days. I don't get it. PPC guys are great. They're great, but there's definitely a rivalry happening with the conservatives and the PPC at the moment. But yeah, that's the thing. I love this one. Is inflation has gotten so bad now it takes 2 Karens to speak to the manager. You guys got some of the best memes out there. Teach a man to fish and he'll eat for a life. Give him someone else's fish and he'll vote for you. That's absolutely right. What are you doing to prepare for World War III? I'm stockpiling food. What about you? I'm stockpiling guns and ammo. Why aren't you stockpiling food? Because you're stockpiling my food. No implications there at all. I'm not implying that people do anything. No, please don't. Give a man a fish and you feed him for a day. Teach a man to fish and you feed him for a lifetime. Promise a man someone else's fish and you'll have a lifelong NDP voter. That's really along the same lines as the other one right there, but a little bit more personal, a little bit more of a dig directed at Mr. Jimmy McJuggernuggets over there. Clyde, that meme didn't say thing. It said something else like, yeah, I know what it said. I'm just trying to be good for the kiddos that might be in the room while you're watching this, you know. Oh, that's the game we play. And then of course, our favorite politician, Mr. Pinocchio Mendocino himself. I wonder why they took such a flattering shot of him. I really wonder that myself, honestly. Anyway, let's get into some of this, because what a day indeed. I wonder how UberEATS stock is doing today. I actually need to check that. I just got a series of tweets here just because it is just insane what was going on. So I'm going to read through some of what was happening. I don't know how many of you actually were following what was happening here today or not, but the inquiry into the use of the Emergencies Act started on Thursday. Thursday was very uneventful. It was just everybody giving their opening statements, to which, everybody, it was basically all the lawyers saying, "Hi, I'm this person, and this is how I feel about this. This is how our organization feels about this, and this is what we're going to be, how we're going to be representing things moving forward." Our family-friendly Clyde, such a dad, absolutely. Snatch. I am your internet dad. Bloody washer with the hashtag PPNV. I want to keep that hashtag alive. We got to get it trending at some point. That would be hilarious to get PPNV trending. Oh man, yes, the liberals right now, huge with the PPNV. Absolutely. Internet dad. Where are the dad jokes, bro? Stick around long enough, you'll hear them. You and Ro, Clyde, Ro and myself have streamed together. We've had pretty great conversations, actually. Ro, of course, from the War Campaign YouTube channel, live streamer in Ottawa, and also commentator on all things Canadian on the federal level. Hey, Clyde. Sailor Jerry Swallow. Welcome. Viva Fry 2. Internet dads. Yeah, absolutely. Viva Fry's awesome. Awesome dad. Let's get into some of these tweets because I just, oh my goodness. So I put this one out there because the term microaggressions came up today, and I couldn't believe that they actually came up in a government, like somebody sworn under oath used the term microaggression. There was microaggressions. Now, if you don't know what microaggressions are, this is a woke phrase. This is comes from the woke ideology of university leftists. And microaggressions are, of course, not full-blown aggressions. I almost had a Freudian slip there, and I'm guessing you can get what I might have accidentally almost said. But microaggressions are definitely not actual aggressions. So an actual aggression would be an act of violence or trying to aggress upon somebody, be actually aggressive. What a microaggression is, and this is the terminology of the academia. When you go to college, you learn about microaggressions. Now, what microaggressions are is they're not real aggressions. They're what may be perceived as the introduction to an aggression. It's not actually examples of this are given and this is a real thing. This is a real thing that actually exists. And I'm gonna just get the Wikipedia up for this because it's just too much. People don't believe it's a thing, but it is a thing. So manspreading is a word. It is a word that's made up by crazies from academia, and it is considered a microaggression. Now, the act of manspreading is the practice whereby a man, specifically one traveling on public transportation, adopts a sitting position with his legs wide apart in such a way as to encroach on adjacent seat or seats. So the idea of there's junk there, so you can't cross your legs usually. Most men anyway, in any real comfortable manner, unless you got plenty of space there. So the legs will sit out in a somewhat V formation, and this is known as a microaggression to other travelers who may not have the apparatus that someone may have in this light. So these are terms that are microaggressions. Another one that you might find is man. I don't know if I'm gonna pronounce or spell this right. Mansplaining? Yeah, here we go. Mansplaining. The explanation of something by a man, typically to a woman. A manner regarded as condescending or patronizing. But this is only to the observer, right? So microaggressions aren't necessarily aggressions. They're just perceived as aggressions to the observer. So you see where I'm going with this? Do you see where this is taking us? This is taking us into the realm of not actually being aggressed upon, but somebody making the perception that somebody is aggressing upon you. So this is open to interpretation, as they say, and this is a part of the whole like moral relativism and all of this stuff. It's unbelievable, but people actually believe this. And microaggressions are somebody innocuously, incidentally, or accidentally doing something that you perceive as something that's aggressive towards them. And yeah, that's unconscious aggression. There you go. You're catching on. You're catching on. That's what we're talking about. We're talking about microaggressions here, ladies and gents. Let's just get the microaggression definition here. Micro. Oops, not maestro. Micro. Aggression. See if we can't get that one up. Oh, here we go. Microaggression. A statement, action, or incident regarded as an incident, as an instance of indirect, subtle, or unintentional discrimination against a member of a marginalized group, such as a racial or ethnic minority. Now, see, this is being pushed forward at this person who actually is a white male, but at a point during the testimony, referred to themselves as Francophones, so that could put themselves in a marginalized group, or I don't know, anything can be a marginalized group that can get you in microaggression territory. You gotta be racialized. No, you don't have to be racialized. You can be francophonized. You can be anything. You could be a different gender that you just figured out just in the moment. And that's definitely something that you can do. Anyway, so microaggressions are being used as justification for the use of the Emergencies Act, not a parody. This is the reality we live in. The Emergencies Act, Freedom Convoy. So this is in the Inquiry, and yeah, lots of reactions, lots of people either getting upset at my tweet or having a laugh about it. Anyway, I'm gonna move on because there's some good stuff here. This is a reply that I wanted to get to, and I thought I had that up. I'm gonna move that down the line. Give me a sec on that one. So it turns out I was watching the wrong Inquiry after all. I thought I was tuning into the government trying to justify the Emergencies Act. Today's hearing was about UberEATS shortage in Ottawa back in February 2022, evidently. So we're gonna get into this. Oh, the horror! A lot of people cracking up to this one here. But well, let's get into some of what actually happened here. So this is from the Real Andy Lee show. She was taking segments of what was happening. So Damas Promise put the stream up. It's like 10 hours long. I'm not kidding. It's a lot of time to be listening into this stuff. But 10 hours of this stuff and people pulling out good clips here and there for all of our entertainment. Because that's all this was. This entire thing today was entertainment. There was no educational value to it. It went nowhere. We had some really good moments from some really good people that are a part of this, and I gotta give credit to our guy here, Brendan. And before we get into that clip from Andy Lee's show, let's get into who he is. And if you watched my video this morning, you'll have seen this clip, but we'll run through it again because it was definitely, this guy's a champ. And I'm really proud to have this guy on our side, and that of course is Brendan Miller. He's of the Foster LLP, who represented the protesters during the Freedom Convoy. Argues in this video he argues that the act could be invoked for espionage, sabotage, clandestine, or deceptive foreign influence, but not for protests. And he's just straight up says it. There's going to be nothing in this inquiry that reaches the bar for invoking the Emergencies Act. And this guy is a champ. He's my guy. He's my guy. Hey, I just want to run through this clip. He's good.
Counsel, as well as Ms. Eva Chipiuk, who is counsel to the convoy.
Sorry. Skipped ahead.
Good morning.
And Eva Chipiuk, big shout out to Eva Chipiuk out there, another amazing lawyer on the team. Anyway, let's hear.
Morning. My name is Brendan Miller of Foster LLP, and I am counsel to Freedom Corp, which is an organization that represents the protesters of which attended Ottawa in January and February of 2022. My colleague, Ms. Beth Sheba Vandenberg of Foster LLP, is my co-counsel on this matter, as well as the solicitors of record, both Mr. Keith Wilson, King's Counsel, as well as Ms. Eva Chipiuk, who is counsel to the convoy.
Big shout out to all the counsel.
With respect to sort of everyone's given an overview of the theory of their case, it is our view that there was no justification whatsoever to invoke the Emergencies Act. The Emergencies Act requires several things. One, it could be invoked due to espionage and sabotage. Are you going to hear any evidence about espionage and sabotage? The answer to that is no. Two, it could be invoked on the basis of clandestine or deceptive foreign influence, or foreign influence that involves a threat to a person. Are you going to hear evidence about that?
That's
the
right,
answer to that is no. It also could be invoked on the basis of threats or use of acts of serious violence against persons or property. Are you going to hear evidence of violence against persons or property? The answer is no. Lastly, it can also be invoked if there is a group or persons trying to destroy or overthrow by violence the system of government of Canada. Are you going to hear evidence about individuals trying to do that? The answer is no. And the answer is that there was no reasonable and probable grounds to invoke the Emergencies Act, and that the government exceeded their jurisdiction, both constitutionally and legislatively, in doing so. Thank you.
Absolutely. Absolutely. This man does have a way with words, Heather Jones. Absolutely. He's our new Canadian rock star. Absolutely. So big shout out to Brendan Miller of Foster LLP. Very impressed with his showing today. Really enjoyed it. Because there are some moments, and hopefully we can get to all of them. I may have to find some other ones because there were some good ones. But every time he jumped up and he did his cross-examination, it was just beautiful. I may have to grab some more, get some more links. I'm gonna ask a favor actually of some of my mods here right now. If some of my mods can DM me more his cross-examination, if you can find that on YouTube or Twitter, not the whole cross-examination, like not the whole thing, but just his clips of getting up, because he nailed it the most. If some of you guys can get in there and DM them to me so we can show them on the show here tonight. If not, we're gonna get through what we can get through here. But let me get into this. So that was that clip there. Here's the one from the Real Andy Lee Show, clipped out. Yes, best highlights, please. Absolutely. Yeah, they're now debating whether UberEATS was available in Ottawa during the protest. Evidently, this is a matter of national security. And it was. I used it myself. So the Real Andy Lee Show is in Ottawa and used that at the time. Anyway, here's the clip.
Okay. So I understand that after the protests, there was two funds set up. One being $20 million was set aside by the federal government to compensate Ottawa businesses affected by the protests, and another one for $10 million from the provincial government. Is that correct?
Correct.
Correct. And to date, or at least as of June, I understand that of the federal government funds, only $8.6 million have been used. Is that fair?
I don't have that knowledge. I know a lot of my businesses took advantage of it.
I can't comment on the total, but I could state that the majority of my Main Street business, my storefront businesses did apply to the fund.
Okay. And of the $10 million provided by the province, I can't find if much of that was used. Can you tell us, do you know any amounts with respect to the amount of money that was used from the provincial funds?
No.
Okay, thank you. You had said in your evidence, ma'am, that UberEATS wasn't available during the protests. I'm going to put it to you that it was.
Okay.
Can you, I'm giving you an opportunity.
I'm not sure.
That's the purpose of this. So
Right.
I want to be fair to you. I'm going to put it to you that UberEATS, in fact, was operating during the protest and was, in fact, even delivering food to the protesters.
I would say there are likely times that UberEATS was operating and other times on the weekends, which I think our businesses would deem to be the most busy times where a lot of them weren't. There was a lack of drivers. I know that was a major issue. And then because of the closures, there was zero access for it. So whether the app was open or not, I'm not aware, but I can tell you that many of our restaurants in Vanier and others could not use that service as a method to sell their food. And further to that, some would make the orders and they wouldn't be picked up. So there was an additional loss.
Okay. And did you yourself experience any inability to use UberEATS?
I did not use UberEATS in that time, no.
Somehow I don't I don't think that's true. Anyway, so she had made the claim that UberEATS was not working, and so of course, Brendan got up there and just straight up said, "You're lying," which to the point that she was just absolutely dumbfounded by that. We have the Ottawa Gestapo tweeting out, "Unvaxxed Canadians are not essential. UberEATS is absolutely essential." I don't think this one missed a meal. I'm just throwing that one out there. But by the way, police Ottawa Gestapo, go give them a follow. Great parody account. They're amazing. Absolutely. But yeah, so this became a contentious issue, whether or not UberEATS was an issue. I'm going to reiterate, the purpose of this inquiry is to find out whether the government had the jurisdiction or had the demonstrable grounds for invoking the Emergencies Act. And I'm going to mute my phone because it's probably driving you guys just as nuts as it's driving me. Absolutely. Holy cow. Mute time. But yes, unreal. UberEATS. The big problem today. So yeah, again, tweeting out, turns out I was watching the wrong inquiry. I thought I was tuning into the government trying to justify the Emergencies Act. Today's hearing was all about UberEATS shortage in Ottawa back in February 2022. The Uber emergency. I think it was Derek Smith that started the Uber emergency, and I just started throwing that one out. Had to join in on that immediately, absolutely. But this is the farce that was going on in Ottawa. Of course, Eva Chibiuk replying to me on that tweet saying, well, she's got her receipts from that time in Ottawa getting her UberEATS. Absolutely. In her hotels. So I'm assuming she's not doxing herself on Twitter here. But yeah, the horror. The Liberals in Ottawa need to understand that their convenience and annoyance is not a case of national security. Even Trudeau still thinks that because it was unprecedented, needed the Emergencies Act. That's not how it works. It's not how it works at all. Yeah, it was unprecedented because it was the first time in Canadian history that many people got together for the same purpose, to protest the government. And, well, that has a lot to do probably with the government's unprecedented overreach. But here we go. Basic freedoms for unvaxxed Canadians. No, UberEATS. Yeah, get on that. Get on that immediately. Corn Pop, thanks for the $1.99 super chat, asking to be banned. Ban me. Oh, I believe is that a meme from Viva Fry's channel? I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. Anyway, yeah, UberEATS, the talk of the town today, obviously because of the attention drawn to it. Nice work. So, if you wanted to pay attention to the play-by-play, what was actually happening, Rupa Subramanya, I'm always having a hard time pronouncing Rupa's name. Lovely lady. Keeping everybody up to date on the play-by-play, what was going on. Now, Zexi Lee, I believe that's how it's pronounced. Zexi Lee was one of the people to take the stand as well. If you're unfamiliar with Zexi Lee, she was the woman who came forward for the injunction and then started the $300 million lawsuit against the trucker convoy, of which is going absolutely nowhere. But anyway, witness at the public inquiry, Victoria de la Ronde. I felt phantom horn blowing after the protest. That was a quote from today. Zexi Lee, who was masked when she went outdoors during the protest, says the truckers would derive pleasure from her flinching when they honked. I could barely tell what was behind the mask, let alone if someone is flinching. Interesting. So, of course, taking the stand to assert people's motives behind why they were doing things, with Zexi Lee in mind. So Zexi Lee on the Freedom Convoy protest, which were terrifying. I was never deterred from going outside. Huh? Yeah, so a lot of contradictions in some of the testimony today, like some of the things. So question, did you feel unsafe walking the streets? Zexi Lee, hard to describe unsafe. I don't know how to describe it. Listening to Zexi Lee, one gets the impression the Freedom Convoy truckers came to Ottawa to specifically taunt her. She was the focus of their attention. She definitely gave that kind of feel. Rupa reporting here. Zexi Lee admits people in her building threw eggs at truckers and the protesters. So far in the testimony, this is the most violent act that occurred, and it didn't come from the protesters. This is insane. Like the stuff that they're just admitting to on the stand here and just jumping at horns. Not very sexy. That's right. You just got an Uber ad. Did Uber just... Did they just advertise on my channel? Amazing. That's amazing. They're all the talk of the town, like I said, today. The immediate aftermath of the protest, weeks after, Victoria de la Ronde says, I kept hearing phantom horns. I also had phantom smells because people were complaining about the smell of diesel. The smell of diesel. Definitely masks the smell of one's own farts. We know there's a lot of enjoyment of the self-flatulence, as I like to call it, in Ottawa. Zexi Lee puts her mask back on after finishing her testimony. I'm told by credible sources in the scientific community that COVID-19 took a break for the hour and a half she was speaking without a mask. Oh, Rupa, you getting sassy on Twitter. I love it. Carrier, some protesters were lovely. They were not a homogenous group. No, they were not a homogenous group. They were from all walks and flavors of Canada, and we have all kinds of diversity throughout Canada, and it was very reflective in the demographics of people that were turned up to protest the government at the time. McHale, a business which was anti-convoy, their Google review got attacked. Oh, what is this even? Anyway, the police discouraged residents from coming into the downtown core. We're still hurting because Wellington Street is closed. So Rupa goes on and on and on and on. There is plenty to go with here. This was a good one. Correct me if I'm wrong, but did Flurry just suggest businesses were preparing for Winterlude this past winter? Winterlude was canceled in early January because COVID, well before the protesters showed up. Now, the question about that was one of the witnesses on the stand was talking about being prepared to have all these new customers come, which was a really, really weird one. So this Flurry character who is taking the stand made the suggestion that waffled back and forth on this. So there's this waffling back and forth on the businesses were totally ready for whatever came their way, except they couldn't open because whenever they did open, too many convoy people would come in and they didn't have enough staff. They weren't prepared for all that business, so they had to close. It was really, really an unusual sort of back and forth wiffle waffle. Is it waffles? Yeah, wiffle waffles. It was, which way is it? It was the whole cake and eat it too thing. At one point, he claimed that they would have had lots of business had the convoy not been there because they were waiting for the Winterlude, which apparently is a whole lot of business that normally comes to Ottawa. Yeah. Oh no, not customers. As long as they're not too many, then we'll have to shut the doors and not have any. And basically, he alluded to the fact that the Winterlude would have brought their customers. They would have brought customers. They would have had all of that, except, and Rupa Subramanya is correctly showing this with this news article, the Snowflake Kingdom Winterlude cancels in-person events for 2022. So this was canceled. This was not going to happen. There were several times in the testimony there where he had claimed that there was health ordinances, and it made it difficult because this is my favorite part. The convoy people were coming into the businesses without masks on, and it was terrible because the government was coming down on them for enforcing it, even though the patrons did not want to go along with the enforcement of mask rules, the mask mandates. Now, he made the argument that it was too burdensome for the businesses to have to be pressured into enforcing these mask mandates, and the fines were egregious. And to which I thought immediately, this guy sounds like an advocate for getting rid of mask mandates. I don't know how any other way of taking this. He's saying that it's way too overreaching, that the government is coming in and telling businesses that they have to mandate the behaviors of their patrons as they come in or else face fines. I think he was on the wrong side of this whole thing. I think he should have been in a truck protesting with the rest of them, judging by that statement. But I don't know. Again, the wiffle waffle of this flurry, this flying flurry to the solar plexus of of a testimony ever since I've been the champ, of course. But that was definitely an interesting highlight of today, and maybe I'll get into some more of what Rupa was saying in a bit. But let's move on to some of the other things. This is a good one from Andy Lee. She put it, the Real Andy Lee Show put it this out. Good point. You would think if somebody tried to run you over during a protest, you might bring it up in a testimony instead of saying, I didn't feel safe, but it's hard to describe it as as unsafe at the same time. So now this is in reply to a tweet by Super Spreaders. I love these Twitter handles. They're just amazing. But Super Spreaders put this one out. Zexi Lee. I think it's supposed to be with a X. Zexi Lee. The Zexi Lee perjured herself today. This is what the claim is here. I'm not making this claim, but saying Zexi Lee perjured herself today at the Emergencies Act hearing. When asked about violence, she did not mention that she was almost run over by a trucker. In this February interview, since scrubbed by the Ottawa Citizen, she claims to even have photos. We got the receipts though. And then someone tried to actually run me over and it might yet happen one day. So have hope, haters. I'd be pretty pissed off. Whatever. This is the thing. So this was an article. A class action complaint alleges trucker threatened her by backing up onto sidewalk. Zexi Lee said the incident occurred at around 8 a.m. Thursday at the corner of Kent Street and Laurier Avenue. This is back 17th of February that they reported on this. I'm guessing the Ottawa Citizen. Let's see if the actual report is here. Yeah. So here we go. Lee added she was on the sidewalk when she took the pictures, and so was surprised when the truck backed onto the sidewalk towards her. Normally, of course, there are no cars on the sidewalk, but here in lawless Ottawa, anything can happen. Whoa, we're getting conjecture in here. Getting all kinds of hyperbole. Lee adds following the incident, she approached the truck to take a photo of the driver, whereupon he began opening and closing his door against an adjacent truck to try to keep her away. Maybe he was just fanning her off. Hey, you're a little too close there, sweetheart. Meanwhile, when police arrived to take her statement, one protester repeatedly told them that they were illegally blocking the intersection, while another, perhaps unaware that Lee had shot video of the truck moving back to the road from the sidewalk, said that the pickup truck hadn't moved in over an hour. The claims they're not causing harm just disgust me, Lee said. I've had enough, and even if there is no criminal charge because he did not hit me, because I moved out of the way, I want that on the record. He tried to do this. I want his name to be registered in the system and someone who potentially could commit a criminal offense. You know, perhaps it was unintentional. Maybe just consider that. Or it's just all made up entirely. I can't stand these people. These people? What do you mean these people? What do you mean these people? I can't stand these people justifying all of these actions that are harming others because they feel that their rights have been infringed on. That doesn't give them the right to infringe on other people's rights. And yeah, we're still yet to find out what rights have been infringed upon Miss Zexi Lee. But yeah, just waiting to find out. Absolutely just waiting to find out. What a clown world. What a clown world. Absolutely. Check out Two Average Dudes on YouTube. Two Average Dudes on YouTube. I'll have to check them out. Smiles. That's a microaggression. Zexy is too sexy for the stand. Yeah. Too sexy for the stand. Won't sub. What do you mean won't sub? Corn Pop? Won't sub? You can't. YouTube's not letting you sub to my channel? That is not cool. JCBU undercover. I moved out of the way like Tai Chi style. Slow motion. Whoosh. Like Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon. Absolutely. What do you mean these people? I like that. I really like that one. Let's get into some of the other stuff here. Viva Fry chiming in on this one today. If anyone had any lingering doubts that the lead plaintiff in the case against the convoy, who is a government employee, by the way, was potentially acting out some sort of government political or acting as some sort of political government political agent. Her testimony today might definitively eliminate that doubt. It's unbelievable. Zexy, our city hero, did what no one else dared. Stopped the noise, disrupted the terror, stood up to the haters. So there was an injunction that Zexy Lee brought forward with a few others. All but which were thrown away, except for the honking injunction, and that was the prize. That was what they won at the thing. And you know what? To be fair, the honking was very, very loud. It was very loud. It was very disrupting. And so the injunction was brought on, and everybody obeyed the injunction. That's the funniest part about this whole thing, is you get these truckers come all the way out from all kinds of places in Canada, gather together, come to Ottawa, and they follow the rules. They followed the rules. Like, yeah, they illegally parked. And that's what it really came down to. They illegally parked on the streets of Ottawa. They left all the fire lanes open. They always made sure there was always a fire lane so emergency vehicles could pass through. The only blockades that ever took place were police blockades, stopping the trucks from moving in or out. Once they were in, they were in. They were there. That was it. But as for our hero over here, wow, you got the honking to stop. You got an injunction that everybody obeyed. Everybody obeyed. They tried to cut off the fuel. They tried to put bans on all kinds of other stuff, but to no avail. In fact, the Canadian "I'm Spartacus" moment when they said they were going to stop people who have jerry cans was just beautiful. It was surreal. It was such a beautiful moment. Such a absolutely beautiful moment when all the truckers are told they can't have jerry cans, and everybody goes to they were going hundreds of miles away to Canadian Tires and Walmarts and hardware stores alike just to find jerry cans to bring to the Freedom Convoy for that weekend. And people were just, carrying them with water in them, carrying them empty. People had drinks in them. They were drinking Kool-Aid and stuff out of these jerry cans just to mess with the police that said you can't have fuel to keep yourself warm in -20 conditions. Unbelievable. Anyway, nice hero here, disrupting the terror of the Phantom Honk. The Phantom Honk Honk. Zexy Lee, whose class action suit led to a court injunction to stop noise during the Freedom Convoy, will be honored with a Mayor City Builder Award at Council tomorrow. This was from a while back. It was a while back. But yeah, she got an award from Mayor Jim Watson. In fact, I'm actually looking forward to Jim Watson's testimony. I cannot wait to see what Brendan comes forward with that. I hope it's Brendan. Brendan did such a bang-up job today with his cross-examinations. I really, really enjoyed that. No joke. But we have this article here, Unacceptable Views. This is Unacceptable Views on Substack. Alexander Brown saying, feelings over facts, Emergency Act inquiry descends into early farce. It's just ridiculous. One point before we get into this article I want to make, and there's a lot of cynicism from people out there. By the way, 624 people watching. Guys are getting a little stingy on the likes. Appreciate if you give a like on the channel. It really helps the algorithm. It tells YouTube that people are enjoying what they're watching. So hit that like button, please. It'll send it out for more people to watch what's going on here. So if you do like the content, if you don't like the content, you don't have to like it, but definitely appreciate when you guys put those in there. But let's get into this. If day one, I wanted to make a statement. So there's a lot of cynicism out there. Yeah, there's been inquiries into all kinds of stuff. There's a lot of black pillars saying it's not going anywhere. It's going to last 10 years, this big inquiry. I've seen inquiries that lasted 10 years, 4 years, 8 years, 6 years. This is just going to take forever. there's a deadline on this one. The deadline is in February. I think it's the 23rd of February, 2023. So this is supposed to be a month-long, every weekday for 30 days. 20 question mark. Sorry, Uber can't run. Call a national emergency. Get out of here. Get out of town. But yeah. So this is the thing. So there is a deadline for this inquiry, and it has to be done. It needs to be filed, and it needs to be submitted by February, I believe the 23rd. Yeah, I could be wrong on the date, but it is February. The reason why I think it's the 23rd is because that was the day that Justin Trudeau rescinded his invocation of the Emergencies Act. It was on the 23rd of February. But that is some hope. That is some hope that we'll get through this, and we're gonna get into some real answers. Even though today was a complete farce, but we're gonna actually get into, in the coming days and weeks, we're gonna have all of the leaders of I don't know if all of them, but many of the leaders from the convoy itself. We're gonna have Mayor Jim Watson coming forward so he can testify under oath. We're gonna have Pinocchio Mendicino, the one who made all kinds of accusations of, I can't say the word here, struggle snuggle, let's call it that. Accusations of struggle snuggles at the Freedom Convoy that never ever happened. And there was all kinds of accusations he made. He also said that the RCMP, the police, the Ottawa Police and the Ontario Provincial Police all asked for the Emergencies Act to be declared. Now, all of those the leaders of all of those agencies denied that claim. They said this was not the case. Nobody requested anything, or they had not requested that of the government. So that was, PDS, misinformation. Sweet little misinformation. Absolutely. So that's where we're going with this. Justin Trudeau himself will be taking the stand under oath. This is another case of that, as well as Chrystia Freeland, the very, very famous deputy prime minister, was finance minister at the time, as well. And very famous for her what would you call it? Conflict of interest, perhaps. She's deputy prime minister of a country and a board member of a international lobby group that is notoriously undemocratic, known as the World Economic Forum. So giant conflict of interest there. I think I would like to see a hearing on that subject personally, but yeah, that is the case. Let's get into this. I'm not gonna read the whole article. I'll probably leave a link in the description for you guys after the video goes, or after we're done the live stream and it goes into the video. By the way, if you're tuning in the first time, after the live streams, I like to hang out with the crowd over in Discord. 420 likes. I just I just looked over to see that. It's beautiful. After the live streams, hang out in the Discord. We all hang out, and in the voice chat, I like to hear back from the community. I like to hear what you guys have to say. This is my time to go have some wobbly pops because I have my soda water while I'm doing the live streams. It helps keep my throat clear and my voice beautiful. It gives me the burps. So apologies if that happens while we're streaming here. Anyway, let's get into that. Feelings over facts. Emergencies Act inquiry descends into early farce. If day one was a beatdown administered by civil liberties groups and the provinces, day two's focus on tales of bureaucratic woe and phantom honking represent a gift to an embattled Trudeau regime. Jerome Noel, I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly. Thank you for the $10 super chat. Trudeau and her funny mustache fan club, winged beesnatch, gonna lie as usual. I had to work extra hard to try to re-kajigger that whole sentence there. Thank you so much, Jerome Noel. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. This is a group therapy session, or is this a group therapy session or an essential democratic proceeding into the historic suspension of Canadian civil liberties to clear the great unwashed from the steps of Parliament Hill? If you were to litigate that question based on the day one results of the Public Order Emergency Commission into Trudeau, Mendicino, and Freeland's first foray into bank account freezing, independent media beating, and horse trampling, perhaps one could be forgiven for being lulled into a false sense that this government may finally be held to account for their many indiscretions. Lawyers, civil liberties groups, and provinces teed off on the unnecessary invocation of a nuclear option where a little dialogue, a few tow trucks, and nonviolent dispersal tactics would have surely gotten the job done just fine. This is one thing that they just never bring up. They never bring up the fact that, like, the media doesn't bring this up. Obviously, the politicians don't want to bring this up. They didn't go to meet the truckers. They had hotel not hotel rooms, but the conference rooms at hotels booked out. They had them booked out. They had seats there for Trudeau, Mendicino, Freeland, all of them. Any one of them could have came, and they didn't show. They didn't show. They weren't there to negotiate. To negotiate the end of the protest. They want to keep calling it an occupation. I call it civil disobedience with a side of parking infractions. That's what it was. It was parking infractions. It was a very, very big set of parking infractions, but nonetheless, it was parking infractions. But nonetheless, yeah, exactly. They did not go and discuss anything with the Freedom Convoy. All they had to do, like, literally just walk across the street. It was right there. They were right there. They were waiting. This is the way it is. Oh, a tempest with the emojis. Wow, that's tragic. That's tragic. Absolutely. But yeah, no, it would have been so easy for them to just walk across the street and put an end to it. But nope, it was a big face-saving tactic. They didn't want to give up on their UberEATS. No, they didn't want to give up on their mandates. And oh boy, are they going to be paying for this politically? Holy cow, this is not going to end well for them. How thankful the government must be then for Friday's call to the bullpen. Why did my phone just act? Oh, my phone charger was doing its thing. In the place of legal experts and Canada's most dogged defenders of our rights and freedoms sat many aggrieved government employees, and how quickly we were reminded the pretend apocalypse from our winter of discontent. Yeah, the pretend apocalypse. I gotta get an account so I can subscribe to this guy. This guy's a great writer. I like this. Jeremy Noel, thank you for another $20 super chat. I appreciate that. Thank you so much. Oops, that was supposed to be a PG-13. New around the block. I'll watch my mouth, honk honk. So the idea here is I try to keep the language twofold. So twofold. There's two things involved here. The language for YouTube, right? If you say certain words, YouTube's algorithmic fingers get in there and go, oh, look, we're going to take away your ability to get reach. We're not going to allow you to get out there and see these viewers. We're going to pluck these viewers away from seeing you. That's one of the things. Now, if a video gets demonetized, that sucks. That sucks enough. But what makes it worse is they de-rank the video. They're not making any money on it because it's demonetized. Okay, let's show it to less people. So I try to keep it away from that. But I also do it as a courtesy because I know a lot of people that watch my videos, listen to these live streams after the fact. They'll do it with their kids in the room. I know for a lot of you right now, it's pretty late, so your kids aren't awake. But for everybody else that's watching it later, that's the MO there. Jeremy Fraser with the $3 super chat. Keep on trucking, Clyde. Bonnie and family. I finally met my Bonnie. What? Bonnie and Clyde. I get asked all the time. Where's your Bonnie? Anyway, thank you so much, Jeremy Fraser. And thanks again, Jerome Noel. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. There's all kinds of umlauts and stuff on over top of the letters there. Trish Prue. Thank you so much. Another $10 super chat. I don't have any wobbly pops, so have one for me later. Appreciate it. Thank you so much. I will have one for you. Can't have too many because I think we're going to be going somewhere. I want to go have a day with the family, go do stuff tomorrow. So I don't want to be all groggy in the morning. So I won't have too many. I got popsicles. Gotta have some of them wobbly pops. Wobbly pops. You should know kanji, Clyde, though. I struggle with kanji. I definitely do. Hiragana, katakana. So for people who don't know what I'm talking about, my wife's Japanese, so I learned the language. Oh, you're probably talking about the shirt. So this is katakana on this shirt, except for this. That's a T. And it just says T-shirt. I thought it was funny. It just says T-shirt. But that's the thing. So yeah, there's several languages or several written languages in Japanese, written alphabets, I guess you would call it. But kanji is the really difficult Chinese characters. And as I implied, it's difficult. Super info dense stream tonight. Take a light-hearted meme break. Is this super intense info? I will take a lighthearted meme break. We got one posted right in the Discord right now. Let's have a look at this one. What is this one? Am I out of touch? No, it's the truckers who are racist. Oh, I love it. You guys are the greatest. You guys are the greatest. Release the memes. Oh, I love the memes. You guys are so good with the memes. Too many good ones. I lost my place. Where was I? Da-da-da-da-da-da. Yeah, it's a pretty heavy stream, I guess, today. I'm just having fun. I'm just bantering. It's a lot of fun just bantering about all this stuff. It hardly feels like I've been at it for an hour, but I've been chatting with you guys for an hour now. Scott, the Canadian $13.99 super chat. I always wonder about these oddly specific numbers. If anybody knows why the specific numbers come up, let me know in the chat. We're all going to need therapy after dealing with Trudeau must go. Fizzy drinks, don't cut it. Lum Phao, keep it up. Thank you so much. Cheers, cheers. Maybe we'll see you later in the Discord, Scott. I'm going to have some wobbly pops with everybody. That's a thing. Anonymous. Someone anonymously giving a $10 super chat. Thank you for the $10 super chat that says drink. And well, I'll do that, but for now I'm just gonna have my soda water with my yummy lemon slice. But that is a thing, absolutely. Oh, I'm not reading that one. Goodness. Good evening, everyone. Dan H, good evening. Anyway, we're going to get on with this. Okay, so this is a really good article. Definitely recommend it. It goes on about a lot was going on. Zexi Lee admits some people in her building threw eggs at the truckers and protesters. So far in the testimony, this is the most violent act that occurred, and it didn't come from the protesters. I just can't believe this stuff. They, like, when you're that indignant to bring this stuff to the table. It's unbelievable to me. But let's get into another break. where I can drink a little bit of this, and you guys can watch this video along with me. So this is again from the Real Andy Lee Show, giving a clip. I'm just seeing if maybe High Energy Clyde. Nice. Oh, got your notice. Oh, by the way, everybody in the chat, can you just let me know in the chat right now how you heard about the stream? Were you waiting for it? Just type in the chat, waiting for it, or were you notified of it? Did you get a notification? And then if you heard about it on Twitter, type in Twitter. If you heard about it on Discord, let me know. Let me know. Because I'm curious, because I've been hearing reports that people have been having the bell undone on their subscription to the channel. Friday is Clyde's day. Tempest, nice. Thank you so much, man. Okay, so a lot of people still getting notified. A lot of people waiting for it, though, as well. Just checked. No notification. Discord, notified. YouTube notification. Totally random. Awesome, Jeremy Fraser. That's great. That's great that happens. I see you on live, and I click. Okay, so the live side of your subscription notices. It was my recommended section, Trish Prue. Okay, so in the recommended, brilliant. Notification. Yep, Friday laundry and Clyde. All right, so you listen to the live while you're doing laundry. Perfect. Waiting and notified. Okay, notified. Yep, notified. Notice YouTube. So yeah, I've been getting reports that people have had the bell unticked on their YouTube channel. I've had some reports that people were unsubbed. That's more of a rare one. I haven't heard that many reports of that, but I'm just curious. So I want to know about that in particular. So apparently I'm getting a YouTube representative. I don't know how that is actually going to work out. Usually they promise you stuff and then it's just like, you don't hear back from them. So I would actually like to ask them about that. You got, okay, link. So you saw a link. Google told me because I made a reminder. Okay, wow. People use the notification bells. Lol. Yeah, some people do. Some people do. I use the notification bells for certain channels. I definitely do. But my notifications are just like 99 plus all the time, so it's hard. Yeah, the Japanese flag's nice. I'm hoping to go to Japan soon. Actually, we might actually be able to do that. It's been 3 years now. I haven't been back to Japan, so I hope. Yeah, I hope to be able to do that. Anyway, let's get into this. Here we are. Okay, from the Real Andy Lee Show. Question: a necessary element to ending what you call the occupation would have been removing the vehicles from the streets. Answer: I'm not sure. If the people were removed and we stopped having to hear the honking. What? So this is clown world stuff. So the main theme of today was they didn't call it a protest. They didn't call it anything but an occupation. They just kept calling it an occupation. Clearly, these people who were taking the stand had one motive, one direction, and they were going on that. I heard rumors that one of them might be running for mayor, and that might have something to do with why they're going after the city of Ottawa's response so hard. I haven't verified that, but that was something that I definitely heard about. Hi says PewDiePie lives in Japan now. Clyde, do something. I know that. I don't know where he lives though. When we go, our place is in Tokyo, so that's my mother-in-law's house, and that's where we go. Domo arigato, Clyde. And they call me Clydo in Japan. Kuraido. Domo arigato. Doitashimashite. So that's yeah, that's the thing. Anyway, let's watch this video.
Example, honking, downtown congestion, Ottawa. Example, honking, downtown congestion, Ottawa congestion, and road blockages, idling vehicles and related smells and fumes, etc. Would you agree that the root cause of all of these issues was the fact that large numbers of vehicles remained illegally parked throughout Ottawa? To put it,
that trucks were able to make their way on non-truck routes in downtown Ottawa, yes.
okay. If illegal parking could be stopped,
I love how so it's really funny. So a lot of times they would answer the questions in like this weird roundabout way. I don't know if they thought they were being clever by saying it in a particular way or what they thought, but that was just a nonsense answer right there.
Ottawa. To put it,
that trucks were able to make their way on non-truck routes in downtown Ottawa, yes.
Okay, so he's saying that the truck routes, they were not truck routes. You're not supposed to have trucks on that route. That's still just a parking infraction. A traffic infraction, just like parking. I mean, we're just getting into semantics at this point. That's not a truck route. Like, what? You're in the bicycle lane on the wrong side of the road. You're you're supposed to look both ways before crossing the street. You're not on that's a jaywalk. You know, like this is the semantics stuff that we're getting into in this inquiry. Mind you, let's not forget, this inquiry is to find out if the government had the grounds necessary to meet the threshold in order to invoke the Emergencies Act. And we're talking about traffic infractions. We're talking about people disobeying traffic laws. That's what's being talked about here. This is why it was such a farce today. It was like, this is a serious inquiry about the federal government suspending what? They were suspending the Charter of Rights and Freedoms, something very important to a lot of us, to all of us. Should be. Most Canadians that are worth a grain of salt, definitely bothered by that. A lot of immigrants that came from places that don't have a Charter of Rights and Freedoms, pretty offended by this. So yeah, people are a little upset. So bringing up traffic infractions when we're talking about the government suspending civil liberties over a protest. Jeez, this is crazy. Jerome Noel, again with another $50 super chat. Whoa, thank you very much. That should cover the jaywalking fee just in case you had a ticket. Honk honk. Nice. Thank you so much. I really appreciate that. You're gonna have a lot of wobbly pops this evening. That's gonna take me. I'm gonna fall out of my chair. Definitely. No, thank you so much, Jerome Noel. I appreciate it. With some more honk honks. Let's not forget that this is supposed to be a serious inquiry, and it's gone so farcical to the point that we're literally talking about the semantics of traffic tickets at this point. We had somebody admit that they threw eggs at people. That is not a microaggression. If you throw eggs at somebody, it's not a microaggression. That is an aggression. That's an act of aggression. That is assault. And you don't... Goodness. Unbelievable. Adjo with a $13.99 super chat. Thank you so much. It is insane how Western governments have sent delegations to negotiate with the Taliban, but the Canadian government wouldn't send a delegation to talk with the truckers. And they didn't have to go far for that. It's not like they would have to travel very far. It was across the street at the hotel. The conference room was there. The chairs were set for them. Like, this is... It's so ridiculous. Thank you so much for Adjo. AJO? Adjo. I think that's just Adjo. Thank you. Thank you so much for that. But yes, This is ridiculous. So yeah, if you ovo aggression, I like that. The eggs, ovo aggression. No, it's straight up just aggression. That is AJO. Okay, thank you. It's just AJO, not AJO. Appreciate it. Thank you so much. But yes, if you throw an egg at somebody, that is an act of aggression. There are no incidences. There are accusations of aggression, but there are no incidences of aggression that took place during the Freedom Convoy that I'm aware of. Now, one thing that keeps coming up, and well, again, I'll just say this real quick, and I've covered this on the channel. There was, yes, it is violence to throw an egg at somebody. Absolutely. The arson, the alleged arson that the trucker convoy did at some apartment building, it turned out to be, and it was a couple of idiots, but it turned out that there were some like woke kids with like, one of them had blue hair and stuff. They were not truckers. They seemed like the Antifa types. And yeah, they got caught and they were charged with arson. They were found to not be connected or tied with the Freedom Convoy. It seemed like they were trying to stage some sort of thing that would make it look like it was a Freedom Convoy, but they were idiots. They had their faces on camera, and the police got them. It's just the way it is, man. That's just the way it is. Give Clyde a like, newbies. I'd appreciate that. I would appreciate that. Holy cow. You guys are great. You guys are really great to me tonight. Holy cow. But let's get into this. You had some micro... Yeah, I'm not going to say that. I almost did a Freudian slip there earlier, but let's get back into this one. So, traffic infractions. Semantics. Yeah, because they were in the non-truck lane, and there were trucks. They were parked. The idea, you're offended by the fact that they were parked there.
If illegal parking could be stopped, what you call the occupation would have ended, correct?
If the city of Ottawa's truck routes were followed, and if fluidity of movements on the roadway was respected, and if parking rules were followed, you're correct.
In fact, the only way to end what you refer to as the occupation was to remove illegally parked vehicles from downtown Ottawa streets. Wouldn't you agree?
Or prevent them in the first place.
Sure, but once they were there, the only way to end the occupation would be to remove them from the streets. Correct?
To dismantle.
To dismantle.
Well, it was.
He laughs. I love that part. Oh, he laughs. Too funny. Dismantle.
To dismantle.
To dismantle.
Well, it wasn't just vehicles. There were structures.
Right.
There were people. There were number of elements. So when you're defining vehicle or moving the vehicle off the roadway, it's a little more complex than that.
Right, but a necessary element to ending the what you call the occupation would be removing the vehicles from the streets.
I'm not sure. The people were moved, and we stopped to hear the honking. The vehicles were closed.
So you'd be. I'm sorry, I interrupted you.
Yeah, I mean, if you look at the police operations that move folks off, the vehicles were still in place. Right away we started to get less complaints, and it took a number of hours and days. And yet, right away, as soon as the people were moved out of the zone, then operations to remove vehicles and to stop the honking and the fumes and the structures was able to begin.
Right, but the end of the occupation came when the vehicles, well, one of the necessary conditions was that the vehicles were removed.
When the people were moved out of the zone.
So you'd be happy to have the vehicles remain on the streets of Ottawa indefinitely as
a
long
different
as the people
issue. A vehicle without people is not an issue. This
guy just won't back down on this. He's like, it's not about the vehicles. It's about the people. We didn't like those people there. It's not about the vehicles. Oh, so the vehicles were okay? So you'd be happy with the vehicles? Well, that's a different issue. Get out of here. He's just too hard-nosed on this one point. He can't concede to the fact that what he's saying is just they need to have a big dunce hat, a big paper cone that you just come over to these witnesses. Like, there you go, buddy. Here you go. Just need to make this clear for everybody.
Turned off vehicle in itself can be easily moved by authorities. It's the
Unreal. So yeah, semantics over vehicles in the streets or not in the streets, or what is the deal? Are we allowed to have these going on there? So it just gets worse and worse and worse. Okay, I've already gone over that one. There's just so many more of them. Real Andy Lee show, bringing forward another clip. Councillor Mathieu Fury claims a homeless person was beaten by protesters, referencing the incident at the Shepherds of Good Hope. The claim of assault was walked back by the shelter later on. This was the case. So that they made the claim. This is how it works, right? Say the lie a bunch of times, and then people just believe that as the fact. And then once it's corrected, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter because they heard the lie, and everybody believes that to be the case, right? So here we are. Councillor Mathieu Fleury claims a homeless person was beaten by protesters. Referencing an incident at Shepherds of Good Hope, the claim of assault was walked back by the shelter, who later stated a resident was shoved and there was verbal altercation. If anyone has the clip of Brendan questioning what's his name, Flurry, the flying Flurry, questioning him about microaggressions, I need that clip because I want to see that clip before we go, because it's too funny. It's too funny how he responds. But here's this other clip where he directly calls him on that thing there.
You had said that beating up a homeless person was an aggression, at least the translation. That's what it was. That's more of an assault. So had you witnessed any homeless people get beaten up by protesters?
No, if you recall my intervention, the Shepherds of Good Hope is located at the corner of King Edward and Murray. There was an incident with a client. The executive director reached out to me to inform me of the incident.
Okay. And were any charges laid?
I have no clue.
Okay. Who was the individual who was beaten? Do you know?
I have no clue.
Okay. You had...
So this is what was just mind-boggling for me when I was listening to this. So typically we've all heard the term hearsay. Now, hearsay is something you hear on a lot of like court TV shows to say, oh, that's hearsay. That's not admissible in a court of law. So that turns out to be something that is actually admissible. So Eva Chipiuk answered this question on Twitter, and it gets into it. Serious question. Why is hearsay evidence being proffered? Is that I don't know if that is a word, proffered, in this hearing, and will there be a chance for lawyers to cross-examine witnesses? So Eva pipes up and says, good question. This is not a court proceeding. Strict rules of evidence don't apply. It is also an investigative proceeding rather than an adversarial proceeding. The evidence is tested under the cross, and the commissioner will know what is hearsay and weigh it accordingly. So the proffered means to offer it up. That is a new word for me. I didn't know that word. So there we go. There we go. What do we got? Freedom donations and GoFundMe and Give, Send, Go got stopped, but we all can send to this. Clyde, do something. So pitch and go, Clyde, go. Oh, thanks. I appreciate that. I definitely appreciate that, Scott. Thank you. So, okay. Yeah, that's a new word I wasn't aware of. That's a new word for me in my vocabulary. But yeah, so they can actually have hearsay, and that's exactly what that story is. Absolutely. Jerome Noel with another $2 super chat. Thank you so much. Let's go, Brandon. It's Brendan. For real. Meme gold. He's too good. He's too good. I'm looking forward to seeing him more, honestly. Champion, absolute mad lad here. But yes, so here's the story where he's made the assertion, right? He's made this assertion that a homeless man was beaten up. Now, the claim of assault was walked back by the shelter, who later stated a resident was shoved and that there was a verbal altercation. Now, let's hear some details. He makes this claim, and he's just flippant about his claim. And this is just, yeah, it's just politicians being politicians, absolutely. But he's like kindergarten politician. He's city councilman, right? Especially in a big town like Ottawa, like little kindergarten cop here, who's worried about bouncy castles, doing what junior politicians do best, and that's just lie through their teeth. Yeah, we need McFlurry memes. Oh, God. You guys are great. Oh, Flurry the Clueless. Yeah, definitely McFlurry. But yeah, this is his response when he's just called on it. This didn't happen.
Protesters?
No, if you recall my intervention, the Shepherds of Good Hope is located at the corner of King Edward and Murray. There was an incident with a client. The executive director reached out to me to inform me of the incident.
Okay. And were any
So I heard about it from somebody else.
charges laid?
I mean, it's necessary if an assault occurs that you press charges. Like I'm genuine about this. If you want to complain about being assaulted by somebody, press charges. Press charges. Now you got a paperwork. Waffle McFlurry. I love it. Oh, I love it. That's just perfect. He's the Wiffle Waffle McFlurry. Oh, great. There it is right there. Winnie the Pooh, thanks for that. Oh, too funny. Oh, that kills me. The Wiffle Waffle McFlurry. Just too good. Absolutely too good. Another anonymous donor with $20 super chat. Thank you so much, Anonymous. I love you, Clyde, and don't ever stop dyslexia because we need it. Really. Can you play the piano and explain why flags are red, white, and blue? Smanks. I don't know how to say that. I think that's this Smanks. Smanks a lot. Help. I love it. I love it. Yeah. Yeah, dyslexia is something I definitely do suffer from, and I have a hard time with the whole reading thing, and I appreciate you guys sticking with me nonetheless. It is way too much fun. Doing these videos. I have way too much fun doing it. But anyway, getting back to this. I have played the piano for you guys before, have I not? I believe I did. And I'll do something real quick. You got to guess the song though. If you can guess that, then you win the prize. Oh wow, too many people got that right away. Too many people got that too easy. Oh, okay, next time I'll do a harder one. I messed up in the middle of it though. Did you hear that? Embarrassing. Absolutely embarrassing, but the thong song. There it is. There it is. Anyway, let's get back to this. Because I was having too much fun ripping on this guy. But where were we? So I gotta go back
To me, to inform me of the incident.
Okay, so he heard about the incident. He doesn't verify that it's true. He just goes out and he makes these claims. Would you do that with anything else? Hey, some guy told me that, yada, yada, yada. Okay, well, I'm just going to go claim that to other people. No, you verify. You verify stuff. What are you doing? Of course you verify.
Okay. And were any charges laid?
I have no clue.
Okay. Who was the
I don't even know if there was charges laid. Well, I have no clue.
individual who was beaten? Do you know?
I have no clue.
Okay. You
Just no care whatsoever. Now, has anyone got me the clip? Did anyone get me the clip of him saying about the microaggressions? Because I have to find it. It is the funniest thing. It is absolutely the funniest thing, and I need to find it now. I gotta find Matthew McFlurry. Matthew McFlurry, Wiffle Waffle McFlurry, microaggression. Microaggression, and I want to hear the cross on it. I have micro depression. Professor Plum in the library with a microaggression. Oh, that's too good. That's too good. Christian. Oh, really? Nothing? Too specific, I guess. Too specific. I need to hear about it from Brendan. Oh, am I lost? Did I lose my spot? Let's try microaggression. This is just so stupid. Microaggression, and then put in Brendan. Brendan Miller's no. Aw, come on. Somebody has to have done the clip. I need to find it. I really need to find it. Does anyone have the clip? Because I really want to put this one up. Oh, Clyde, when you go to Dairy Queen, make sure to order a Micro McFlurry. I want that Wiffle Waffle McFlurry. Oh, I think I found it. Wow, that's loud. That's loud. Here, let me get this up on the screen here. Gotta turn it down because sometimes they're just crazy loud. I think this is a clip. Must watch. Ottawa City Councillor Mathieu McFlurry is asked to define microaggression after using the word multiple times throughout his testimony in English. Fleury then refuses to define the word in English because he's a francophone. That was a microaggression to ask him to define an English word as a francophone. Oh, this is just too good. It just kills me.
In your evidence, you made use of a term you referred to as microaggression. Is that right?
I believe so. Multiple times.
Okay. Is microaggression, is your understanding of that it means verbal and environmental slights?
Je suis francophone, donc si vous voulez être spécifique sur les mots, va falloir.
I'm francophone, so if you want to ask me specific things about words, you're going to have to ask me in French. You're asking me a theory about how to define something. Unfortunately, my knowledge of English terminology is perhaps not sufficiently appropriate, Commissioner.
This kills me. His English is perfect. What the heck's he talking about? If you know the word, you should be able to define it. especially if you're using it in a testimony, my man. Like, get out of here. That is such a cop-out if I've ever heard one. Micro English. McDrama McFlurry. The drama McFlurry. Oh, this is so funny. It's so funny. But it gets better. It gets better. So Brandon walks off. Comes back.
Je m'appelle Brendan.
My name is Brendan.
I think
he's clearly not a French speaker, right? He's a lawyer. Tabarnak. Oh, this one killed me so bad. This just destroyed me. I was at work with headphones in, wrenching on cars, just keeled over, just gut laughing in the shop today, listening to this. Oh, but it gets better. Let's start from the beginning though, because this is so funny.
In your evidence, you made use of a term you referred to as microaggression. Is that right?
I believe so, multiple times.
Okay. Is microaggression, is your understanding of that it means verbal and environmental slights?
Je suis francophone, donc si vous voulez être spécifique sur les mots, il va falloir que vous...
I'm francophone, so if you want to ask me specific things about words, you're going to have to ask me in French. You're asking me a theory about how to define something. Unfortunately, my knowledge of English terminology is perhaps not sufficiently appropriate, Commissioner.
Je m'appelle Brendan.
My name is Brendan.
You can tell there's laughs.
I think, it is funny, but it's not. I am doing my very best to answer clear questions in English.
No, you're not.
You asked me a very specific question on a definition. I'm saying, ask me, clarify in French, and I'm glad to specify if it is yes or no. The specificity of the nuance of a word, I'm uncomfortable in responding to your question.
What of the word?
Well, I'll tell you a thing. So I think it's important that people realize this. So we have Pierre Poilievre gotten a lot of crap recently because, well, not a lot of crap. They just tried to make a big deal out of something that he said. So he's on Jordan Peterson's podcast, and what he said was, "I like to use Anglo-Saxon terms," and what he meant by that is simple English, very simple English, and it's the best when you're trying to convey things with people to use the most broad term, like the way you're going to reach more people is use terms that they're going to understand. If you start using very specific terminology, you lose people. You lose people because they don't understand what the specifics of that terminology is. But if you're going to claim that you can't define words because you're Francophone, even though you clearly speak English very, very well, don't use very specific terms. Microaggression is a very specific term in woke ideology for a very specific reason. It's a way of asserting that something is an aggression upon somebody else, despite the fact that it is not. That is the term, and that is the purpose of the term. So it's just so funny. Microintelligence. This is just getting too good. This is just getting way too good. You guys are hilarious. But this is the thing. If you can use specific terms, at least know what the specific term means. Get out of town. Of course he knows what he means. He's just trying to cop out and not go into what a microaggression is, as we went into earlier. A microaggression is just something that's not actually an aggression that you can escalate. Now, this is a terminology used to actually give people an okay to actually claim self-defense when assaulting somebody over something that may have just been words, may have just been a slight, or something that wasn't intentional, or something that isn't offensive at all, but is taken as offensive by the person. Now, you always remember, people take offense. Offense isn't given. So not everything was meant for you. Just remember that. Let's get into more of what he had to say.
Words that I put to you, and there's a few. So means, verbal, and environmental, and slights is confusing. Which one are you confused about?
J'ai expliqué plusieurs fois.
I've already explained. Try to express this, and I've explained this to the commissioner, that to my mind,
Gets better.
everything in the periphery of the red zone was what I would describe as being microaggressions. I could describe microaggressions to you. For example, go in front of somebody and pull their mask off. I don't know how we want to describe that as a definition, but that's
not a microaggression. Grabbing somebody's mask is an aggression. That's an act of aggression. That is assault. That's not a microaggression. So it's a bad example of that.
Example of a microaggression. Walking into a restaurant, being asked to leave and sitting down without having the right to stay. That's another microaggression.
No, that's trespass. Like, these are not microaggressions in the term. Like, he's micro assault, micro accountability. You guys are killing me. No, that's trespass. You're not welcome. You're not allowed to be there. You're
Fighting.
No, that's aggression. That's violence. That's assault. It's not microaggression.
Somebody who's homeless. Beating somebody who's homeless. That's another microaggression.
It is not a microaggression to beat someone who's homeless. That is an act of violence. That is assault. Which, of course, the case that he's referring to, turns out may never have happened. It may have just been words or something. Maybe even just a "get out of here, you fool" kind of thing. Microclide, do something. Oh, you guys are funny. You guys are funny.
Another type of aggression, making so much noise at such high volumes that you have to close down a daycare. That's another kind of aggression. That's how I've described aggressions, Commissioner. I'm not a lawyer. I don't have a background in specifics, but I'm trying to use the terminology that I can to be as specific as possible to describe what I received as information and what I was able to see.
Get him a pair of these so he can understand what I'm saying in English as well, please.
That's me.
Burn! Burn! Savage. That was the most savage thing of the day right there. That was the most savage thing. This champion. Can you get him one of these things, a translator, so he can understand the questions that I'm asking him? Bar none. This was the best moment of the day. It's killed me. Absolutely just destroyed me. I'm sitting there at the shop with headphones in. People don't know what I'm listening to. I just keel over in violent gut laughing. And everyone's like, what happened to Clyde? Oh no. I gotta hear that one more time. Oh, this is going on my favorites. I'm bookmarking this link. Holy cow.
Specific as possible to describe what I received as information and what I was able to see.
Get him a pair of these so he can understand what I'm saying in English as well, please.
That's mean.
Oh, you hear that? Oh, that's mean, somebody said.
Pair of these so he can understand what I'm saying in English as well, please.
That's mean.
Oh, that's mean. Yeah, it's mean. Yes, it's mean. Savage. It's absolutely savage. Oh my my goodness, that Micro McFlurry just wrecked, absolutely. I couldn't help it. That's mean.
Of these so you can understand what I am saying in English as well, please.
Oh, that's mean.
That's mean. Look at the look on this one's face. I can't say her face. She doesn't use those pronouns. She let that be known during this testimony that somebody used the wrong pronouns. That's a they them pronouns, this individual here, but with the very, very disheartened look at the response from the cross-examining lawyer. The Micro Wiffle Waffle McFlurry. It's just I can't believe this.
The terminology that I can to be as specific as possible to describe what I received as information and what I was able to see.
Get him a pair of these so you can understand what I am saying in English as well, please.
Oh, that's mean.
Is that possible?
Oh, too funny. So yeah, they wanted to get a translator so he could hear it in French. Rather than
Do you need this? Would you like one of these for when I question you in English? Because I'm unfortunately incapable of speaking French.
He's not
And I
francophone.
will do my very best to answer in English, but it was a very, I don't need it, thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Oh no, you don't need it.
So you had said
Macro
that
embarrassing.
beating up a homeless person was an aggression, at least the translation. That's what it was. That's more of an assault. So had you witnessed any homeless people get beaten up by protesters?
No, if you recall my intervention, the Shepherds of Good Hope is located at the corner of King Edward and Murray. There was an incident with a client. The executive director reached out to me to inform me of the incident.
Okay. And were any charges laid?
I have no clue.
Okay. Who was the individual who was beaten? Do you know?
I have no clue.
Okay. Thanks.
Oh my god. That is my favorite clip of the day. I'm saving that. I want to bookmark that. I'm putting that in the Discord under verified information because that is just it killed me. Macro embarrassment. Oh, I love it. I love it. I love it. Shut him down. Yeah, absolutely shut him down. He had nothing to say to that. Because it was a cop out. It was a total cop out. Saying, "Oh, I'm a francophone. I can't define words that I use that are very specific." And then when he did go to actually define it, he defined it as just actual aggressions, not microaggressions. To what the term actually alludes to. So it's too funny. Micro YouTube channel surpasses mainstream media. yeah, absolutely. Micro re. Oh, I love it. I love it. But this is the day. This is the day that we had today. Of course. Oh yeah, with the $6.99 super chat. Unbelievable. They don't even know what microaggression is. Well, they're using the word. But they're apparently not using it in the right context because they're talking about something macro cringe. So everything's just gonna be micro macro now. There's no in betweens. Everything's either ginormous or very little. Best Friday Night Live, macro awesome, Clyde. Thank you. Thank you, Prairie Strong. Appreciate that. I'm having lots of fun. You guys are great. But yeah, we're running towards the end of this here. But yeah, I wanted to show this to you guys. This is a clip as well from the news. What news? CPAC News, where they were talking to Keith Wilson, who's also a lawyer who's involved in this fight. He's the lawyer of the Freedom Convoy organizers. He's also in charge, the lawyer in charge of the case with Brian Peckford, where he's suing the government over the travel restrictions. There are many things that people could sue the government over what they were doing. Brian Peckford decided to go specifically after the travel restrictions and that part of the charter. So they had their mootness hearing just recently, and we're yet to find out what will happen there. I hope that they rule that it is not moot, because that sets a really bad precedent for government agencies to do executive orders, decrees, infringe on everybody's rights, and then as soon as the lawsuit comes around, because it takes forever for the lawsuit to get to a courtroom, so then they could just get rid of it and then say it's moot, and then just keep doing this as much as they see fit. That's kind of the idea here. But interesting exchange here with Keith Wilson at the beginning. I'm not going to show the entirety of this, but there's definitely a good bit in the beginning where he gets into the importance of this. Actually, towards the end, I believe somewhere in here is where he gets at the importance of actually going through with this inquiry.
Ottawa Centretown, businesses as well, people that lost money, lost their shifts, felt trapped in their home, that might argue that there was a security threat, a security to their person, not having the freedoms that they should be having because of this protest. What do you say to those individuals who may be more sympathetic to the use of the Emergencies Act?
Well, the crime data is empirical. Crime dropped, so that's going to come out. There's not even anybody suggesting that anymore.
That's pretty incredible.
That narrative's gone.
But does that mean to say that individual residents were not harassed or felt trapped in their home?
Well, I'm not. I don't think they were harassed. That's not the prevailing thing. The evidence that I've seen and I observed my firsthand. But let's talk about something that's clear, which is they were inconvenienced. They were. It wasn't a pleasant experience for some of the residents, for sure.
Now I'm going to stop there real quick. So let's just go over what he said here. They were inconvenienced, absolutely, but well, let's get into these out. I don't want to screw the pooch here.
In the same way that it wasn't a pleasant experience for Canadians to be facing mandates
but these individual residents did not enact rules and regulations. They were just living their lives.
Fair enough, sir, but they chose to live in the capital city. And if you're going to suggest that the protesters should have gone to some remote rural community and protested there, when you live in the capital city and you enjoy the benefits of the incredible architecture and capital infrastructure that's here, we all know that protesters come here. This is not novel. You know well that the capital city of a country, of a nation, is where people go to protest when they feel their governments have crossed lines. That's what happened on a grand scale.
But I think though, the difference being that when there have been protests in the past, it might be a march to the Hill, it might be a protest on the Hill, certainly not an occupation that lasts day after day and into weeks. So very different, and certainly not protests that in the past have involved big rigs that are honking horns 24/7 and emitting carbon into the air that people are choking on. What do you say to that?
Oh, these over exaggerations. Like, this is such hyperbole. Okay, so I'll let him answer that, but let's just go over what he said so far. Now, there's claims that there was so much crime and all this stuff going on when the empirical data shows that crime went down. The homeless were actually fed during this time. There was claims that the truckers were stealing food from the homeless. No, there was food falling off of the trucks. Now the complaint from some of these restaurants is, well, we couldn't compete with the free food. Like, that's the idea here. So yeah, no, crime went way down. Absolutely. And that's just there's no arguing that the numbers don't lie. That's a thing. Now, as for the harassment, these are some people and their claims. Like I said, we have the claim that of the homeless guy claim that got beat up. Turned out that wasn't true. We have the claim that there was an arson at an apartment building. It turned out that that wasn't the Freedom Convoy people. That was actually somebody trying to stage the Freedom Convoy, like stage an event, like a patsy, or not a patsy, but a false flag, that kind of thing that was going on there. One of the mods, take care of the little sexy bots in the chat there, please. But that's where we are now. The next thing to be said is if you live next to a you move in next to an asphalt plant, and you don't expect them to fire that asphalt plant up sometimes, like, seriously. And what I'm hearing now is that landlords actually have a clause in Ottawa. I want to confirm this, and I'd like to look into it more, but I'm hearing that some landlords actually have a clause that they can't, the tenants can't go after the landlord because they were disturbed over protests that actually happened in the nation's capital. Now, here's the thing. If you decide to move your house next to the government, and then the government becomes incredibly corrupt, the government overreaches into the lives of citizens all over the country, disrupting their lives for over 2 years, and you expect nothing, no recourse to come to that town that you live in, you're out to lunch. You're absolutely out to lunch. Something will happen, and you're going to see more as they go into the lives of farmers in Canada, and they're disrupting the livelihoods of farmers. Do you think you're not going to see tractors coming to Ottawa? You don't think you're going to see harvesters coming to Ottawa? You're absolutely going to see it. This is why we need our politicians to back off, and we need to go back. And nobody's calling for overthrow of anything. We're calling for the normalization of a normal society. Let's go back, and not going back to the 1850s or anything like that. We should keep our institutions. We're not advocating any weird stuff. We're just talking about cutting the corruption out of our government, cutting the overreach out of our government. That's the factor. But yeah, get ready for tractors. If you in Ottawa citizens, people who live there, get ready for it. The government is stepping over the boundary on that one. You're gonna see some micro government. I'd like to see a micro government. Absolutely. We're seeing a macro government at the moment, and that's terrible. But yeah, let's see what else he had to finish up this statement with.
Never before in our history, sir, has a government, the federal government, invoked mandates that prevented 6 million unvaccinated Canadians from traveling by plane and train in their country, the second largest country in the world by landmass. Never before did thousands of people who worked at airports, baggage handlers, clerks, security people lose their jobs because they exercised their choice over bodily autonomy. I can keep going. Military, the number of people that have left our military that we invested in all their training because they were concerned about the uncertainty around the rushed approval of the vaccine. This was an incredibly, I know you're not going to suggest to me that the pandemic was a minor event, nor that the government's response was unprecedented. Unprecedented action by government will bring unprecedented response, I would suggest, by its citizens when they think the government's gone too far. And that's what happened in January and February in Ottawa.
Yeah, I think so, Mr. Wilson. I think, Mr. Wilson, and respectfully, I think the disconnect here, though, is that the people that ended up paying the price for that, in many ways during the course of this protest, were not actually the people enacting the laws, creating the regulations, but people who are just trying to live their lives, who are all of a sudden trapped in their home, and many of them not feeling safe to walk their own streets.
Well, Michael, I think that's why those who were trying to keep the protest peaceful urged the truckers that the time had come for them to move out of the downtown. And this is what civil disobedience is and lawful protests involves. It involves sometimes making government and people feel uncomfortable.
Absolutely.
In response to the discomfort that the citizens felt by the government policy. So this is part of our democratic process, is that when people and citizens feel that a government's gone too far, is they engage in protest. And that's what happened. Was it of a grand scale? Yes. But it was spontaneous, and I think it was reflection of the depth of sentiment within Canadians that something had gone terribly wrong in our country, and the impact on their children with the school closures. Now, admittedly, the federal government didn't do that. But for those things that the federal government controlled, they felt they needed to come here and voice their concerns and ask for the rule of law and the charter to be respected.
So at the end of the day then, Mr. Wilson, what do you hope this inquiry flushes out?
Well, I hope the accurate information comes out, that we hear all perspectives. Really, the question for the inquiry is whether or not the freezing of bank accounts and the impact that had on people and isolating them, and how that could be done so arbitrarily, and preventing them from paying mortgages and getting gas and getting groceries and medicines for their kids. The level of violence that we saw from the police during the clearing out of protesters on the Friday, and to a lesser extent Saturday, was that really justified? Why didn't the Prime Minister meet with the protesters and try and be proactive like Mayor Watson was in de-escalating the situation? I think those are questions that hopefully will get answered.
Keith Wilson, really appreciate the time.
Yeah, awesome interview. I wish it got out further, honestly. More people need to hear that part, this angle of it. And that's another big part of it is, while they're trying to convince, the government's job right now is to convince this arbitration, this inquiry, that they were justified in the invocation of the Emergencies Act. They were absolutely not. At the time of the invocation of it, the Coutts border crossing, the Coutts border crossing, what they call as a blockade. It was an intermittent traffic jam, essentially, is what it was. But it had been broken up, so it was gone. The situation in Windsor, Ontario, at the Ambassador Bridge, which is much the same, they blocked up one lane. The police blocked up the rest. But at the time of the invocation of the Emergencies Act, they'd broken up that protest using just police forces. This was not done with any extrajudicial means. Now, all that was left was the convoy, and at which they were negotiating with Paul, what's his name? Mayor Watson. What's his first name? Is it Joseph Watson? Whatever his name is. Mayor Watson. They were negotiating with him, and they were working on getting people out of the residential areas and moving them over to just in front of the Parliament building. And then they were going to have other satellite areas in the outskirts of town where the Jimbo, that's where they were going to have these satellites where people would, have the majority of the actual people, because there's thousands of people. It was crazy. And so many trucks, but only so many would end up there. But this was the deal, right? It was already working. All Trudeau needed to do was come join the negotiations. They were already negotiating with the mayor of the city. No, he escalated. He went way further and wanted to be like his daddy and invoke the War Measures Act. And it's just absolutely Jimbo McWatson. We got the 21 Jigga Watson over there, just ramping it up as much as he can with his getting as high up there as possible. Just turning it up to 11, absolutely. On the flux capacitor, Jigga Watson. Anyway, that's the story. That's what's going on. I'm sticking to my story. I'd love to see what evidence they try to bring forward, but I'm looking forward to more testimony. But testimony that's like legitimate. Like these people were just an embarrassment. And Gigawatson, there you go. You guys with all the micro macro stuff today, it's too funny. Anyway, we've been going for 2 hours and 10 minutes, and I think it's a good time to wrap it up for this Friday evening. I've had so much fun with you guys. You guys are a blast every time. Make sure you hit that notification bell if you haven't got that rung yet. It helps you. It helps me get out to you guys when I do extra live streams. I don't normally do, well, I've been becoming more and more normal, actually. I had 2 extra live streams this week. I don't know if you guys knew about that, but that was something that I did. So I had a few other different guests. Remember, if you're in British Columbia, tomorrow is the day that you go vote for your mayors, your other stuff. But most importantly, I think, is vote for your school board trustee. You don't have to have kids in the schools, but go ask what their platform is. That's tomorrow. It's happening in a lot of other provinces, but get out there, give a vote. Just like, even if just so you could say, hey, I went out and I did my civic duty. Just get out there and involve yourself in the system. You can't really rail against the system if you don't engage yourself with that system. Start local. We'll make great communities, and then we'll have great, great municipalities, make good counties, make great provinces, which make great countries. This is how it works. So let's start small, and we'll do that. Ontario is October 24th. Exactly. So go out and vote out the woke. Absolutely, Trog. That's how we do it. We vote the woke out, and that's how they got the woke in. That's how they got all this woke ideology stuff, is they kept voting those people in. We fell asleep. We've been asleep at the wheel. It's time to get engaged. Engage yourself with the system. Don't give up on it. They want you to be black-pilled, so you just walk away and you let them take the reins. This is how we change our country and turn it into a beautiful place once again. It doesn't always have to be dark. That's the way we do things. Good point, Clyde. Sorry I was so late. It's okay. It's okay, Chloe. Thanks for coming out. And we'll see anybody who wants to join. Link in the description down below, as always. Join the Discord. We're going to have some wobbly pops. And you guys all have a great